It says we're live.
Oh, it
We're live.
does. All right. Hello, friends. Let us know if you are here. I am trying to do this via our hotspot because I'm not home. And so we are having some technical difficulties. So if you are here, will you please let Crystal and myself know you're here? Let us know if it's Skippy. Let us know. Can you see us even? We don't even know.
It's funny. It hasn't come up yet as on your page as going. So,
Oh my
because I'm
gosh.
on. Oh, Tanya says hi. Rachel says good evening. Oh my gosh. I don't see it yet. Tanya says all good. Like all good meaning you can see both of us because I'm frozen as far as Sherra can tell.
Crystal's fixing her hair right now. This is how she's frozen.
She
But
can hear
but I
and see, so we're good.
okay. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it come up here. So here is the thing. We're gonna all take a breath, cross our fingers, and we'll hope that we can hang together for at least 30 minutes. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Tanya. Thank you for being here with us.
I'm so happy right now. I really like I didn't have a clue what this was going to be like, and now I feel so happy.
Yeah, this hotspot's not the what they like, oh, what they like make it out to be. But okay, as long as our people can see us, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna take a breath. I just don't like things don't go quite with the flow, right?
That's right. But that makes it more fun.
Well, thanks. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. But I'm always like, what is this teaching me in this moment? Like, just it's okay. It's okay.
That this is real life, right?
Yeah,
This is
Tanya.
real
So
life.
that's what Crystal said is that I'm blurry. I think it's because it's my connection because I'm the one that's got hooked us up through StreamYard
Hmm.
to broadcast. And yeah, so I do Crystal had said the same thing. And it's so funny that I'm blurry for you guys, but Crystal's frozen for me. So
Yeah.
super funny. So
Really, really good, Shara. I want to share with you. I actually can see people come on now, which I've never been able to do before. So Christine Fennell is watching.
it's our friend.
I know, right?
Yay!
Okay, okay.
Hi, Christine. Okay, I don't
Really,
even
yes.
know where you're seeing that, Crystal, because I can't see that, but that's okay.
Yeah, it is. It is okay because finally I have something that somebody else doesn't have. That might be the little
Yay.
spoiled one in me. Okay,
And I
nope,
get
that's
so
not gonna work.
distracted anyways. So, like, I need less distraction. So it's all good.
Okay, that's true. Okay, now I'm feeling like calm and better. I'm ready.
Well, it
Are you
helps when we
ready?
see our people. Yeah, I'm
That's
ready.
true. Oh, we got some
Yeah.
hearts too. Just saying, there's hearts.
Oh, see, I see you're on Facebook, so you can see all that. So
Oh
I'll be
yeah,
on the ferry on my way home and I'll go through and I'll be able to spend some time with our people in the chat. So
yeah.
for those of you who have not been with us before or Crystal and I are new to you, I'd love to do a brief introduction. So, my name is Sherra Grasser. I'm a youth empowerment coach and the founder and director of Me Powerment Programs. Crystal and I have been friends for almost 22 years. And we have always been honestly sisters of the heart. Our work has always been in alignment. Our love for families and youth has always been very present in our conversations. And Beyond the Classroom is a project that Crystal and I chose to take on together to really extend what we do with our youth to our families and the adults in our worlds who are supporting our youth. Crystal, it's yours.
Oh, thanks. It's so speaking of being distracted, I Tanya just posted something very, very important that
Yeah.
everything that is put in chat is not confidential actually because it does go out there and a lot of what our goal is to do here is to normalize a lot of these really hard conversations and really hope that people are okay to share, but we also want to be sensitive to the fact that as safe as we want to make this place, it really is out there. So that just made me think of that. But anyways, okay. So my name is Crystal. Everything that Sherra said is exactly what I would say. I I come to this with a very open heart. Every opportunity I get to work side by side with Sherra is a gift. And anything that we can bring to our friends and family and loved ones is just so important. And the I mentioned that our goal is to really be able to normalize a lot of really hard conversations and topics because sometimes I think out of fear of what people might think or judgment, we might hold things in that one, holding it in is just damaging to ourselves and those around us. But also, if you can put it out there, there might be some information that can help while you're going through it. Which brings me to Sherra. I don't know if you want to share that you are creating a page of um, resources from our last one, which is pretty darn amazing.
Yes. Yes. So I thank you, Crystal, for that. So I've started a resource page that will be on my Facebook business page, the Sherra Grasser Youth Empowerment page. I think it's going to go under notes, and it's going to be a working resource page. When we were all together 2 weeks ago, it was really, really obvious in the conversation that we were having with all of you and that you were engaging in with us, how difficult it is to get mental health support right now. And that, either there's counselors are not taking new patients, the ER waits are so long. I mean, hi, Steph. Hi, Carla. It's overwhelming. And due to, how do you say this? Unfortunate or fortunate, it depends on how you want to look at it. We have been in the middle last week. Well, it's been longer than that, but it all came to a head last week in a mental health crisis in my home with my son. And we actually had a really, I know this sounds crazy, but if you've been through the ERs or trying to get help for your youth or yourself or a family member or anyone near to you in a mental health crisis, going through any of the hospitals is an absolute heartache. It's so incredibly disappointing, discouraging. And I shared an article that was really raw and open that had been written about things that I wish I would have known. I didn't write it, but if you're going to the ER for mental health help. But anyways, our experience.
Oh, she will be right back. She got kicked off a little earlier when we were hanging out waiting, and she can go and come back no problem. And what a hard place to get kicked off because this has been her week. Yay, you're back. You're back.
Okay, so that could happen again. We had that during this beginning. Sorry about that, friends. At least we don't lose you, Crystal.
I know. That's what I told them. She'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, our experience this week was through Smoky Point Behavioral Hospital up in Smoky Point. So that is for those of you not in the area, that is north of Seattle. It's north of Everett, actually. And I will actually be sharing more. I will be adding them to our resource list, but I just want to share with those of you that we had an amazing, amazing experience there. Even my son walked out of there and said, wow, that has never been easier. In the sense of that he was seen and heard. Now, mind you, they are a hospital, so they are not a clinic. So outpatient services don't look the same, but they are a really great service if you're looking for assessments. So I'll share more in the resource page later.
Great, great.
That was a lot of conversation to say, yes, we are building a resource page for all of us. Yeah. Yeah.
Tanya just put some good information in our chat about a place to call in Washington State that will help find and covered by insurance therapist, psychiatrist is available. That's great. That's great. And thank you for the number, Tanya.
Yeah, awesome, Tanya. I'll copy that over to the resource page as well.
I can't help it. I don't ever get to see my boy anymore. And look, my boy just came. Say hi.
Hi, Sherra.
Hi.
Sherra's now frozen. Yeah.
Oh, great. With a straw in my mouth?
Yeah, but it's over now. You're unfrozen. But anyways, those of you that know Eric, that was Eric. He just stopped by, and I don't get to see him very often anymore now that he's moved out. So that was a mommy moment. Sorry.
So, friends, as Crystal and I continue this conversation with you, we would love to hear how your last 2 weeks, or last week, we weren't with you last week either, but how has your week been? How do you feel, what does it feel like where we are right now with everything that's still going on? What do you feel is up for you and your families right now? That you maybe want to have a conversation with us around, anything you want to contribute, we are definitely here to share in that conversation with you. So please feel free to use the chat.
Yeah, and while they're doing that, I mean, hopefully they're doing that. I do want to say, if there's anybody from our school or the Edmond School District here, there might be some questions about having to come back to school for K through 2, because I know that is a hot topic right now.
Yep, Tanya said
it. Yeah. So it's interesting that getting the kids' hopes up. So Tanya, is the Seattle School District talking about it and then pulling back, or what are you finding? Because we are actually bringing our second graders back here in, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, and then we'll be our first graders with them. Then we'll have spring break, and then it will be our kindergartners. And that is stage 2, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going back and forth. They still don't have a contract. I'm surprised, actually. I thought Seattle was ahead of us. Obviously, there's lots to work out, but this is hard on the kids. And I talked to our principal. So Stephanie's saying Melody's going back on the 8th of March. Now, how old is Melody?
And that's Mukilteo School District.
Okay. But they're not clarifying grades. Yeah, there's some things that are still, it's sad for the teens. And then I heard, I mean, this was not from any legitimate source, but they're even talking about not starting up regularly when we come back in September. And so, I mean, there's still so much unknown. It's so hard.
And I think that's the hard part. I can only imagine the hard part for us as families and trying to navigate this with our kids. And how do we set them up to feel successful when we don't even know? And my kids, I have kids, but my kid that's still in school is in college, and he's starting to come to the understanding that he may not be going back because everything's going to stay online because there's not an answer yet. And so I'm processing a lot too. Even like, what does this look like to support our kids right now?
Well, so thank you, Sherra, for that, because that leads me into what I would like to do for our kids. And I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that this all works out. I would like to have like open hours for our K through 2. Obviously, it's going to look different. Obviously, it'll look different for the Ks as it will for the first and it will for the second. But I want to give them time. They have a voice just like every other youth that we talk about all the time, Sherra. And I want them to be able to talk out loud about coming back to school. And if they have questions, what does it look like? Our kindergartners don't even know what the inside of our school looks like, which isn't necessarily true because we did do a video for them. But I feel like that would be so powerful for them to be able to talk about it, ask about it, share what they think it'll look like. Because there's so many things. If we could prepare them before they came back, that would be awesome. Um,
Yeah.
my niece Valerie's watching. I love you, Valerie. I just want you to know that.
So,
Oh, Dustin is too, I think.
well, Crystal, I think that that's super
They're in
powerful.
Georgia.
Oh, hi, cousin. But Crystal, I want to share, I just think that that's super valuable. And I think that we need to give everyone a voice in this.
Yeah, I me too. I think so too. And
Yeah.
I want to, we're going to definitely open up space for the adults to ask questions, call in, all of that. But I just want to hear from the kids, and I want the kids to feel like they know before they come.
Yeah.
I Even if it's different, I want them to know before they come.
And I think that's something that's really important and that I'm learning and probably didn't do so well when my kids were younger. I'm going to be very super honest. It's amazing what you look back in hindsight. Um, but I also think that a lot of the energy that the kids bring to school is what they've learned and heard at home.
Yeah,
And so a lot of times I know, and now this is me speaking for me, like a lot of what my fears were for my kids, I put onto my kids. They didn't
for
know to
sure.
fear these things. And
Right.
so I even still, even with kids that are adults, right? Like you're never done parenting. I'm trying to really start checking myself in the respect of, wait a minute, what energy am I bringing into this conversation?
Yeah.
Like, how am I shifting the way this conversation could go based on what I'm bringing in to this
Yeah.
energetically? Is it my fears? Is it my excitement? Is it just a safe conversation? And I think that we as parents, adults, caregivers, teachers, we can actually really, that awareness alone could really make a difference.
Oh my gosh, Sherra, like I'm bursting over here. I got so much going on right now, but so very true. Very true. If we are able to check ourselves and what we're bringing to the table in the
Yes.
environment of our kids, right? And then
Right.
Tanya, holy moly, like so true. Same though with any adult or teacher they spend time with. Exactly, right? And we've been talking about this because the you're right, Valerie. It is an eye opener, and I'm so glad you're here because you're just starting with those littles, and it's just so true. But where I'm going with this is from Tanya's comment is like it is okay to acknowledge and accept the fact that our teachers are human beings and they have been stressed out and worried and all the things just like us. And now they're going to be teaching our kids and they're going to be bringing some of that, right? But how are they going
Mhm.
to bring it? What It's so important that they get their self-care and their needs met and their questions answered as well, so that some of those fears can be, I mean, they're not going to be taken away, but oh my gosh, there's just so much about that. And I mean, they're human just like us, you know? Yeah, that's a big
Well,
deal. It's
and we're seeing that even with our teachers now, Crystal. I know some conversations that I've had recently is the teachers' biggest fears that they're failing their kids because they're not
yeah,
adequate enough with this online way of teaching. That's not what they signed up for. Same as like it's not what the kids signed up for, right? So if
right.
they're even coming with all these fears of inadequacy and not serving to the ability they feel they're capable of serving, imagine coming into your classroom with that fear and that energy. Our kids are so sensitive and intuitive little beings, like they just like sponges,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right? So I mean, I don't know what the answer is other than like this awareness, right? Like
Right.
having this awareness. Um,
So
Tanya,
that's
I
like
love
what,
that question. What can
yeah.
people do to support the teacher's way to express their concerns?
Um, so I do. I also love that question. And one of the things for speaking to Tanya, I mean, I know that Tanya already does this. She's very open. She's very honest with her teacher. She's in communication all the time. She doesn't wait until, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tanya, but she doesn't wait until there's a frustration moment or she has a problem with something that is said wrong, felt wrong, or taken wrong. Her and her teachers are in communication all the time. And so if I were to say, what can anybody do? It would be having open communication with a teacher. If you do have a problem or you've something is said, like address it head on with patience and understanding, with an open mind, as it's not, not if we could walk into these conversations with the teachers and the staff at school, because it's not just the teachers, right? I mean, we have several different jobs where we are crossing paths with our parents and our kids. But if we could go into it with there's the no ill will intent, right? Like, uh, then maybe things will be heard differently and better, and problems will be solved easier and faster. And how to give them a good start, just thanking them for coming back, just letting them know that you're a parent that is there and a parent that wants the best, and Sherra will come right back for your kid. And um, I know for me personally, I guess I should really just speak my truth. If I have a parent that's calling about anything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'll take it all, because to me, that's a parent that is an advocate for their child. Um, and I have to respect that, because I was a parent that was an advocate for my child, and so I want all of our parents to do that. And part of that is empowering the parents to feel like they can. There's still some parents that don't feel like they can call and complain or ask
Mhm.
questions, and that maybe that's part of this work too. Maybe we're letting others know that it is really okay to be in contact with your teachers. They want that. They want
Yeah.
to know that you're there. Um, Tanya says, I love the teacher that asked for the letter. That's amazing. Um,
Oh, yeah,
oh, I must
that's
have missed the letter.
Stephanie's.
Oh, I love that idea. And I'm totally
Yeah,
stealing that idea. Sorry, I missed it. Thank you, Tanya, for pointing it out. I'm totally stealing that idea. Whatever our
yeah,
kids can do to feel like their voice is heard. Tanya said earlier about the kids don't really have a say or a choice. You're right. In some sense, they don't. They do. I mean, their parents could say, I don't want my kid to go back right now, or vice versa. But what they do have is the power to use their voice and be heard, and to walk in prepared as much as we possibly can prepare them, as opposed
yeah.
to it's just the first day of school. The first day of school is scary. Well, now imagine the first day of school after you've been online all this time.
Right. And I think we could take what Stephanie shared, that her,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Melody's teacher has initiated this with her second grade class, right? Like, how amazing is that? But why can't we, those of us that are listening, that know our kids are going back at some point, or when we know a specific date, why can't we encourage our kids to write their teachers a letter? Like, introduce themselves in there, because they're going to meet them in person for the first time this school year, possibly, right? For some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And can you let them teach them to start using their voices in this
Yeah.
powerful way by sharing it as what they need? And
Oh, darn it. I hate it when she gets kicked out. She's saying such good things. Um, Tanya, I agree. It may change their choice if they don't get to keep their teacher. But I also want to speak to that, as that there's been years, not many, actually not many at all, where maybe more so in the older grades, where my kids got teachers that they weren't looking forward to or didn't want to have. And it ended up being a really great experience. I just had to sit back in there's probably a reason for this. Let's just play it out and see what happens. I will be a big voice if it's not right. Um, and so I guess I use that as an example. If some kids are coming back and they have to change their teacher, that doesn't feel good. But if they're prepared
Mm.
correctly, if we encourage them as to great things could come out of this, that might help the process as well. And it might actually be the best thing that ever happened. You never know.
Yeah.
Sorry, you keep going now. You got cut off and I was just trying to
I
fill in.
no 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 you I was actually at kind of a close to it just because I just was about encouraging our kids. And
Mhm.
you know, I'm just going to share this. It's kind of random, but who am I not to be random? I've been really anchoring myself in my work with the kids that I've been working with. There's this amazing quote, and I think this is probably a paraphrase. I don't think it's word for word, but it states, if all problems stem from separation, the solution is connection. And connection is going to look different right now. You know, it does. And I keep thinking, if the problems we're having are because we're not doing things the way we're not in those opportune moments of connection, what can we do now? And I think this is great what we're tackling. This conversation is an opportune way of connecting. So it's a way to really not focus so much on the problem, but look at how we can be part of the solution and encouraging our kids to be an active part of that solution.
Yeah, very good. Very good. And out of Christine's comment about all teachers need all the encouragement right now, along with the students and the parents. And that is one I don't want to leave out is the parents. There
Yeah.
is fear and angst maybe with making the decision if you're going to let your kids go back. There's so many factors on why you want your kids to go back and why you feel you shouldn't or can't or have to, or oh my gosh, like I'm so thankful that I'm not in that position right now. I'm just at the school wishing that they all come back and so excited and I can't wait and I miss them horribly. But if I had to be the one making the decisions, it would be so much harder. Like I want to
Yeah.
give parents the respect that they deserve right now. This is really a tough decision to make. It's just not I am or I'm not. There's so
Yeah.
many things. Yeah. Different teachers, the worry of separation or, what it's just so much. COVID, of course, right? Like we're all worried about that. It's a lot.
Mhm.
It's a lot. Things I hadn't even thought of. Just being able to talk about it right now is just coming to mind, but it is a lot.
Yeah.
And then can we give some space to the 3rd through 12th grade parents and students that they don't know what are they, where are they sitting right now? I mean, fortunately, ones that I've seen on here, it's that like Rachel, her daughter has decided, it sounded like I think her daughter decided to stay home and that's a great decision for her. Like if thank goodness she has a parent that can support her decision. And
Mhm.
there it's just so much. Um are you sure, Monica, that that is a for sure thing? Um so Monica's saying that her daughter is going to lose her teacher. Um, and I understand the mourning. There's some grief with this too. There is
Yeah.
definitely. Um, and Monica, I don't know if you were here earlier. So she comments about how she's more upset than she is. So that Sherra had spoke to that earlier. How is it our upset? Is it us that is the upset or the scared, and the kids really aren't? And are we giving that to our kids? And how does that look for at home for our family? Things like that. But
Mhm.
will you comment and let me know, Monica, if you know that's for sure? Because I don't know that. I mean, I
And
don't
you're our
know.
inside scoop, friend.
I know. I'm like there every day. I hope that's not necessarily true. I know that it is definitely an option of help us stop. What do you mean? Of course it is. Wait, I need help here. I can't. I
What does that mean?
I
Tanya, what does
know.
that mean?
Type faster, somebody. Uh oh, look what Stephanie
Oh,
says.
I know. Mommy,
Oh
it's
my gosh.
okay because maybe I have some of my friends from last year in my new class.
Oh,
So look at that
see.
outlook. Like that's like finding the bright side. I mean,
Mhm.
like she's has some really amazing gifts in her, Stephanie, that she's able to speak that. And kudos to you for being able to have those conversations with your second grader. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's good. Tanya, would you say us being upset help us stop us being upset? You could be upset. I think we all, I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
I think
Yeah.
this is a safe place to be upset and we should be upset to work through it, right? Okay, so Monica did answer, and
Oh,
yes, now that makes sense. If you are staying home and your teacher is going to school, that makes total sense. I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of if you were coming into school. Um, so
oh, sure.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Because they're going to split the classes, like there's going to be those with the teachers on campus, and then there'll be those that choose hybrid or online. So it'd be two separate teachers.
Right. And I have to speak to the kids are absolutely looking for the silver lining. Can I just give props to our youth across the board from the minute we got sent home and the work they did to stay connected. The kids have been on it. Oh gosh, Cher's gone again. The kids have owned it and have done good, and they have been looking for the silver lining. And if you haven't told your child, good job, how thankful you are that they are showing up, please do so. And something I learned 2 weeks ago is
Mhm.
actually say their name. Sherra, you can speak to this better, but so like I would like to say to London. I'll say to London because I know for a fact, in London, I hope you're watching. Like I would say, London, I am so proud of you. And this is genuine, by the way, I'm being very serious. I am so proud of you that you have been going to your school and you are doing the very best that you can and you are bringing it. And I know that because I mean, well, one, I haven't heard differently, but I know that your mom has been able to do that with you. And so I'm like going on a tangent. What I wanted, that was a genuine comment to my sweet Tanya and her daughter London. But what I was trying to share with them, Cheryl, when you got kicked off, is that these kids have stepped up and they have done their part and they have been the positive ones. They have not been
Mhm.
the negative Nellies in this, like I have to say I was a little guilty of in the beginning for sure. And something I learned, and you would know more about how to explain this, is to actually compliment them by using their name. And so that's what I was explaining.
Yeah. Even in the tough, like in the space that I provide in group for the kids that I'm working with, and there's a lot of, there's opportunities to share the tough and what they're feeling, and there's a lot of validation in that. The conversation so quickly shifts to basically, Monica, like you're sharing the silver lining. Like there's a complete shift so quickly to what is working, what is being enjoyed, what they are learning. And it's really amazing to watch that and to be in that energy. Oh, yes. Now, don't get me wrong. I a lot of times get the show because I'm only with them for an hour and the conversations are on. You are with them 24 hours, right? And so you're seeing the good, bad, and the ugly. But what I'm seeing is how amazingly resilient our kids are.
Mm-hmm.
They are so resilient. And when you give them a space to feel without any judgment, without any having to fix them, just give them a safe space to feel, to move the energy, to ask them what they would like it to look like and get them to move it. It's just amazing how they can shift to that silver lining.
Yeah, it's really good. And, you know, with all that excitement, I do know that there are some real special little friends that are still struggling as well. But
Mm.
even those ones that I have met with, I do want to share. Like I've reached out to a couple that that's my job, and I know that they're having a hard time and they really don't like this disconnection. You know, I mean, they're very connected kids, and all of a sudden they're connected by squares. They're not into that. They're not into the just the teacher talking at them. Totally not into it. That. And I want to honor that too. Like even with that though, they'll come up with a positive. They'll come up with a, well, at least I get to do this, or you know, at least I have this. And it's like sometimes they really like whip me into shape, right? I'm easily not there, but they are still struggling. There are still yucky to all of it. And you know, things are still hard. But I do still stand on let's really be proud of our kids because our kids are really doing it. Um,
So
Monica
I'm going
believes
to
that
answer.
this experience, oh, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
No,
go
no, no,
ahead.
no, no. Well, I just want Stephanie sent me a message privately, but I'm afraid to touch my phone because it's my connection to
Oh,
this whole thing happening. Yes, I am still out of town at Grasser Beach, Stephanie, and I'm using my hotspot to try to keep this live functioning, and that's why I'm keep losing signal and I keep getting butted out. So yes, I'm still on the island.
Monica does
Yeah,
believe, and so do
LOL
I.
is
Yeah. Monica really believes that this is going to get, you know, teach our kids some lifelong skills. And it really has. I definitely do believe that, and resiliency and good hand washing. I mean, good point. I gotta say, I love it that we are focusing on hand washing, um, and respect for personal space. I'm
yeah.
actually really interested in that and seeing that inside the school. I think I think it's going to look good and makes a lot of sense. I struggle with personal space myself. I like people. I like to be near people, and but I've learned, you know, like you don't have to be very close for someone to hear you. I didn't know that a year ago. I know that now. So yeah, it's all gonna be very interesting, and we've all learned a lot, and we've all grown a lot, and I cannot wait actually to see what parts of this we take and use when we're back into traditional school times. Like, what part of this new technology are we still going to use? Because there's so much that we can. We can still meet with groups of kids, but not have to be all in the same space. Um, we can, you know, there's just so much. We can meet with families so much easier now, and families don't have to take work off or don't have to, you know, take a whole day to meet, have a, what do you call those? Conference, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping we can do stuff like that. We complain about Zoom, but how great is it that we could not take families away from work and still get that valuable time with them?
Yeah.
The no more
Yeah.
snow days. My daughter is like way out of school, but she says that is unfair for the kids, and she can't even stand that they should get to have snow days. Too bad. You know, 15 years from now, we're going to be saying, remember when we were kids, not only did we walk through the snow barefoot uphill, but now we had to go to school and we didn't have snow days. Kids will be like, what's a snow day in
Yeah.
10, 15
Mo-
years?
Monica, hopefully, I think Tanya's comment under yours, like, I mean, validates that. You're saying that
Yeah,
PTA meetings will likely be Zoom from now on. And how great would it be for that is allows for greater participation? Um, I think that, I mean, that's the silver lining. That's what we can really be hoping for and manifesting in this. I think it's just so interesting when you stop and think about it, is we are living through something that we've never experienced before.
yeah,
Like, I think that, like when we have so much question, it's because there's so much unknown. Like every piece of what we're moving through has not been moved through before.
right.
It's just,
And we're
I mean,
all doing it
like
together.
I sit there and it might look different for everybody, right? And how we're doing it, but we're all doing it. And I think that when I really sit and think about this, oh my God, like this is all new. Like there's no books to read. Like there's not, like we're all just doing this the best we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're doing okay. I mean, some of us, right? I love
Yeah.
Rachel's she's decided that her kids will still have snow days. Yeah, Shayna and I talked about that. There's going to be a lot of parents that will still do snow days, but it will make it that much more special, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a special time. Families can stay home if they choose. It's just a day that they took off, I guess. I mean, um if I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how they're really going to take snow days away in the future. Or do they think that everybody's still going to just jump on Zoom to class that day? Because are they going to still provide computers for kids for the next 20 years? Like, let's be really real. I just thought it was funny that they took it away because my daughter was so upset about it. But I mean, who knows what it's really going to look like?
Yeah.
Because not everybody will have a Chromebook and internet forever, right? We've worked really hard to make sure that our community does, and we are still struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still a lot of needs to be met for sure.
Yeah. And we can always look at it like, how can we do better? And as long as we're doing that, then we're doing the best we can. How can we do better?
Yep. Yep. And I that's such a great place to anchor ourselves in, Crystal, is like, am I, asking ourselves, am I doing my best? And our best
Mhm.
is going to look different every freaking day.
Yeah.
Some days it doesn't look like my best, but I'll tell you, it's all I can give and it's my best, right? So it's like just whatever you can do your best in every day
Yeah.
and know it's going to look different.
So
Yeah.
Laura's saying that Brady only gets to go back 4 hours a week, or is that 4 hours a day? And what district is that? I'm curious. I hope it's 4 hours a day. That's
Yeah, I
tough.
do too. She was driving earlier, so she wasn't able to
Oh, that's
communicate what text
true.
while she was driving. So she may not be able to answer that right away. But yeah, Laura, let us know what if it's 4 hours a week or 4 hours a day. Oh,
Yeah,
Marysville, a week.
she just said a week. Wow. And Tanya's
Oh,
absolutely right. We do need to fight for a full-time nurse and counselor in every school. And actually, it'd be nice if we had two full-time counselors in school,
mhm.
especially during these times. I don't know how anyone's supposed to pay for any of this stuff, and I'm just throwing it out there. But that's where the funding's we need to be focused on that. We do need some more support in that area. Thankfully, we at our school have our Sherra here. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so just to give a little information for Laura, because I know that she is possibly still driving. Her son is older and I believe in high school, and he does have an IEP. And so the high school isn't back yet, if I am correct on that, but they are bringing him back 4 hours a week. what does that look like? Like 4 hours a week? I can't even imagine. And Laura, if you're frustrated, this mama's right with you because I can't even imagine. Like,
Yeah.
but encourage him all the way and tell him to get every little minute out of those 4 hours. And when he doesn't want to, give him a big old hug and make him tell him how wonderful he is that he's going to do it. I know, Tanya, I know, but I'm trying not to go there. Like we want him to feel like this is going to be the 4 hours that he deserves. And that's where we need to make the switch. It isn't um it isn't what he gets to do when it, especially when you're looking at 4 hours a week. He deserves that 4 hours and he also deserves more, honestly. So if we can get him and every other kid that is experiencing this to be in the mindset of this is what I deserve, very respectfully,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe their mind shift can change a little bit as well. And they could receive those 4 hours the way they are intended because those 4 hours are valuable. I get the why bother because that just seems so frustrating, but those 4 hours are so valuable and he does deserve that. And hopefully he's going to get some really good academics out of it, and hopefully he has some really amazing teachers that are fighting for him. He does deserve more consistency for sure, Tanya. I am not doubting that, but if we only can get this, we need to really use it as it is intended and and get as much out of it as we can and really hope for more. Honestly,
Yep.
I don't know how this looks in that district, um but honestly, if he's with a teacher that loves him the way she should love him and the way most of our teachers love our kids, he's going to get more than the 4 hours, honestly, because they are working so hard for these kids. But right now, that's what they're giving, right? Like I don't even know. I don't even have all the right words, but he does deserve more. Um, and Laura's going to go with him, which is
Mm-hmm.
powerful and huge, mungus.
Yep.
Uh,
Advocate, 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 friends.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
They
I,
do
there
love
was,
him. See, I knew it. I'm sorry. I just knew it. They do love him.
yeah, yeah,
Whew. Okay. Yeah, just sit in that for a second.
yeah,
Our kids.
yeah. And I love this, Laura, that what you're sharing, because, I think it's really super valuable, um, for us as parents. I just like this is about building our team.
Yeah.
Um, because it is exhausting trying to be mom, caregiver, teacher, wife, partner, cook, maid, shopper, personal shopper. I mean, like, look at all the hats that we're wearing, right? And I mean, I keep trying to remind some of the moms that I've been working with, it is okay to stay in your lane with your kids. It is okay to just be mom, but what does that look like then with your team? Like, who is your team? Like, we need to advocate for our for our kids, because we're not the teachers in a sense. Like, we've sent our kids to school so that they will have teachers. So instead of trying to be in that teacher role, what would it look like to advocate for your kid and go to their teacher, or go to the para educator, the student support advocate, and build that right there? Because right now, your kids need mom, and you're being
Hmm.
pulled, stretched, tossed, turned, all of it, and your kids feel that. So if you take this opportunity to be like, okay, as starting today, I'm moving into mom mode. I'm staying in my mom lane. This is what it's going to look like to be mom. I'm going back to that, but I need to build my team. Who are my people in the school that now I need to start reaching out to and helping them build some greater responsibility around the support of my kid?
So big.
Just a
Yep.
thought, just a thought. But if that gave you any opportunity to just take a deep breath and feel like you've just lightened the backpack you're carrying around, like, really, Really. If your teachers can't do it for you, if they say, I don't know what I can do, say, who else in my school can I reach out to? Who else is there to support me?
Yeah.
Because there's more than just your teacher that's part of that school community that can step in.
So true. So true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And that also helps the teacher as well when other people in the building also are part of their team. And I
Mm-hmm.
know for our school, in particular, we do work very hard as a team
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, the not every, as we know as adults, not everybody is everybody's person, right?
Right.
But our school, we have this conversation a lot, especially in the beginning of the year, and then we just build on it. But every kid in our school needs to know that they have somebody in our school that they can trust.
Yep.
Somebody, and what that looks for each kid, I can't say, right? That's them. And
Personal.
it's very personal. And that is an area that we're going to really be focused on as we come back to school because one, our kinders haven't really met us. Imagine these kinders, how scary this could be. Although those little kinders are like so excited to come back and they are so funny. Gosh, they're funny. I love them. Or not even come back, just come. Like they're like, just get out of my way and open the door. I don't care. I just want to go. But it is so important to us to every kid, somebody in that school knows them by name, not just their teacher. Every student, somebody in our building, I love you too, Tanya. Somebody in our building knows something about a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do some slip through the cracks? I'm going to be very honest. They do, but we find them. I just met one like last week. I'm like, hey, I don't think I've ever met you before. It was on Zoom, but it was true. I hadn't. A new kid snuck by me. But I don't know every single kid, and I know that not every single kid knows me. I also know even the ones that I love dearly, I don't even remember their name. But it's because it's not my job to know everyone. We have a whole team, even though I try really, really hard. We have a whole team that is doing this. And our goal is to be 100% that every single kid has somebody at our school that they can trust in some manner, that they
Yep.
know that they know knows them, right? It's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
It is a big deal. And my experience, not being a school employee, but being a contracted employee in schools. So, and in two of the high schools, and then also at the school Crystal's at, I can tell you that it is the same in even the other schools outside of Crystal's schools. It is very normal when we're talking about a kiddo, or I'm working with a kiddo, and I ask them, who's your trusted adult? They can tell me. And it may
Mhm.
not be a teacher, it might be some, the assistant principal, or for one kiddo it was the resource officer at their high school, but it was somebody within that school unit that was their trusted person. And so I love that, because as I'm sharing and telling, not telling, I don't tell, but as I'm offering and sharing with you to really start advocating and building your team and who's your trusted people when it comes to your youth. What about, I mean, like, our kids are already doing this and learning this. Like, they have their trusted people. And that's a great conversation to have as we're bringing our kids back to school, and those kids that have been in the schools. Like, who's your trusted people? Because we want to remind them of that, who they have that.
So that just brings up
Yeah.
that I'm going to reach out to our community, the ones that are listening, the ones that listen later. I do want to say, please ask your kid that. Please
Yeah.
ask your kid, no matter what district you're in, actually. Ask your
Yeah.
child, the person, the little one in your care, do they have somebody at school that is a trusted adult, or who at school could they do they feel confident with, or whatever,
Yep.
however your kid would understand it, ask it. And if they don't have one, please, I beg of you to call the school and talk to the office or talk to the teacher. No, I'm going to ask you, if it's my school, please talk to the office, because I want to know. If there is a kid that we have missed, it wasn't intentional, and we need you on our team to help us
Yep.
make sure that doesn't happen.
I love that, Crystal. I
Yeah.
love that invitation.
Yeah, please, please. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no there is no shame in that for me. Like, I beg of you to please tell me if I have missed somebody, or if I can't take all of it. Like, I want to own all of it, right? I can't. Um, but I don't, if, yes, please be a part of our team. That's what I need.
Yeah. Yep. And the bigger your team, I don't even want to say that because we don't always need a big team, right? We just need people that we trust. And sometimes that's one person, sometimes that's five people. It could look different for all of us, but God, having those people is so important because it allows you, lets you give yourself permission to stay in your lane. It allows you to be mom. It's so, so valuable. And it also teaches your kids to start building their tribe, start building their team, and
Yeah.
how important it is to have those people outside of their home that they trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a valuable conversation also to have when your kids are transitioning from elementary to middle, from middle to high.
Yeah.
It is very safe, at least in our world, for you to call and say, I did this for high school with one of my children. I had a conversation. Hey, this kid's coming forward, and I just want to make sure that they have a person, a someone, and I think that that is okay. I think it's actually
Mm-hmm.
valuable. I think it's okay. And fortunately, my kids met lots of teachers and staff, not even just teachers, that they felt safe with. But that was my fear. I will be very honest. Like we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about earlier, that was my fear. I didn't want to put it on my kid, but I did put it out there to somebody that I had heard was amazing at relationship building, and I just wanted to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's okay to actually, it's not just okay. I think it's valuable, important to be that parent or that adult.
And if I would also say in engaging in the conversation with your kiddos about a trusted adult who is a trusted adult, if they say, I don't have one, open that conversation up to
Yeah.
asking them what it would look like to have one. What would it take to be a trusted adult? And have your kiddo be brainstorming what that looks like for them. What's important to them in a trusted adult? You will learn a lot, right? As we always do from our kids in that conversation, but it will also help you be that bridge. Knowing exactly what your child is looking for in a trusted adult, and you might have the opportunity to see that person show up in their lives and be able to say to them, oh my goodness, this person is showing up like somebody that you would want on your team.
Yeah.
They're showing the traits that you were looking for, like respectful, they listen, whatever that is that your child is sharing with you. But I think that's really, really valuable to have those conversations with them
So true. I
and help
have to
them.
say, someday I'll have the opportunity to share my story with everybody, but we are already keeping them for a long time. But it was an office staff person that changed my
Mhm.
whole world as far as academics and school goes. And I have thanked her. I've been able to give her my love for that. And it's just powerful to know that what we're saying is absolutely true. That is my truth. It was a
Mhm.
school person that I felt the most safe with, that actually saw me as me, loved me as a human being, and I thrived from that. And it turned everything around, and I'm thankful.
Yeah. Yeah, that story does need to be told one of these
One
days.
day, one day.
One day it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
So, Crystal, do you want to share a little teaser about next week?
Oh my gosh, it's next week.
Yeah, because this is a short month. It's February. So next week we
Okay.
are joining you March 1st. And ta-da!
So I gave you a little teaser 2 weeks ago. I met this amazing man. I mean, I actually knew him, but I had some intentional time with him, and his story, so much his story. Oh, he is going to come. He is willing, and he has offered to, okay, I'm going to cry, Monica. You totally, whoa. Okay. Okay. Monica
Oh,
just still gave me the best compliment ever, that her kids said that Miss Litz, Miss Waldrop, and Miss Waldrop are their trusted people. We are the silly ones. I don't know if that means anything, but we are the silly ones at school. But anyways, thank you for that. I give them a little hug for me. So back to Donovan. Donovan is willing to come share his story of resilience, of determination, of strong will, of hard, serious, hard difficulties in every. I swear it feels like everything that I take for granted, and
mm,
and and he has overcome, and his thing was, I will show you. I think that's what it
yeah,
was. I will
I'll
show
show
you.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he did, and he is going to share that with us. So if you guys want to see and hear that, please come give him a little love. It also, I do want to give a little disclosure. It might also bring up some hard stuff. There might even be some trigger stuff. That it I feel like it's kid friendly, because I think what he has to share is what things that our kids are going through today. But I just want to be very honest and upfront. This, if you want to have a conversation beforehand, let me know. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yes. So next week we will see you at 6, um, as we bring Donovan on to share his story of perseverance. And I'm super grateful that I didn't get totally booted and could jump back on with all of you to spend this evening with you. Anything, Crystal, that else that you want to share and close?
No, I'm just really thankful for this space and for the conversation. All of you that were able to chat and share with us. It means a lot to us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I hope that in these conversations that we show up with, to share with you, that, they really are, we don't script them. We just kind of
Mm-mm.
show up with what's been showing up for us in our worlds. And I really am grateful for all of you being so honest and sharing space with us and sharing the conversations. And I hope that each and every one of you, there is a little nugget that you are able to take away for yourself, for your family, but that there is a ripple effect in the work,
Yeah,
and in the space that Crystal and I share with all of you. So thank you all. Have a blessed evening and a fantastic week.
for sure.
All right. Good night.
Good night.